let's say your spouse says, I want primary parenting time. You want 50-50. And the automatic response is a defensive, no, let's do 50-50. And then you go into a litany of factual reasons. But then the better way, and here's the key, we're not agreeing with them. We're just validating. We're just calming them down. We're not defensive now. They're going to be defensive. They're expecting us to go into their position. We're not. We're sidestepping the whole thing. So they say, I really want primary. The response could be, sounds like you want to provide the children with a primary home. Something they're going to agree with. Sounds like you really want to be super involved as you are in their lives. See, they're already calming down. Welcome to Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind. I'm your host, Corey Shapiro. Thank you for taking time to work on your divorce. So important to get stronger, take a macro view of what's happening, and really encourage you to listen to this podcast because this one is key. It's why logic fails in a divorce. Logic fails. That's what we're talking about today. Now think about this. The way marriage even starts is not logical. I got married last year at 50, and just buying a ring, a diamond ring, that's so emotional. It's so overpriced, but it's important to so many people who are getting married. On the flip side, when you finally, find the venue you want to celebrate this wonderful occasion and you see the prices and what you're getting, you also realize there's a marriage tax. There's a marriage tax on diamonds. There's a marriage tax on planning the wedding. Everything's overexpensive. Everything is super overpriced. And you just accept it because you got it. It's emotional. It's emotional. Divorce is no different. Divorce is emotional. If divorce was logical, like so many people who come to me wish it was, it would be easy. Split the assets equally, most likely in long marriages. Maybe split the kids, the time sharing, 50-50, or if they're younger, maybe a little bit more to one parent than the other. But here's the key. I say divorce is chess, but it's really divorce is chess on a roller coaster. And sometimes you got to know when to think and when just to hold on. First of all, I hate roller coasters. All right. So that's what I want to talk about. Why facts don't change minds. And let's talk about influencing. If facts don't change minds, how do we influence? And, well, first of all, you can't argue someone into agreeing with you. That's never going to happen. Can't argue someone into agreeing with you. Not going to happen. So the first one is you got to get yourself calm. We always start out with getting calm. Work on yourself. That's why self-care is so important. That's why that 24-hour pause is so important. That's why the mental distancing is so important. Work on yourself. If you're not calm, you can't do this. I heard this in another way. As a leader of a team, someone does something that upsets you, it's not the time to give feedback because you're going to come off opposite of your intentions. Now, you got to lead your ex to a calm state. Now, you do that by emotional validation. By emotional validation. So here's how this might look, and it's hard to do, especially if you're in the soup, especially if you're activated, which you can't be if you're going to do this. So if you're activated, don't do this. But if you can do the work and you can distance yourself, this is what would happen. Let's say your spouse says, I want primary parenting time. You want 50-50. And the automatic response is a defensive, no, let's do 50-50. And then you go into a litany of factual reasons. But then the better way, and here's the key, we're not agreeing with them. We're just validating. We're just calming them down. We're not defensive now. We're thinking. It's that calm part of the roller coaster. They're going to be defensive. They're teetering. They're expecting us to go into their position. We're not. We're sidestepping the whole thing. So they say, I really want primary. The response could be, sounds like you want to provide the children with a primary home. Something they're going to agree with. Sounds like you really want to be super involved as you are in their lives. See, that they're already calming down. Now, that's only step 2. You calmed them down, you didn't get defensive. Probably not going to ever change positions. If someone wants primary and you want 50-50, this is why you can't do this alone. I'm a big believer in out-of-court resolutions. You need to have attorneys or mediators who are experienced, who can help you through this thicket. So even in getting that, getting that person to go to a mediator, to go to an attorney who's maybe more collaborative, not going to have a custody battle, and work through these issues, these professionals could really get to the nut, of what's really going on, and that can increase your chances maybe for more time on this specific issue or change positions. Because a lot of times the positions it's just emotional based, and there may be other ways of achieving that can't be seen at that moment. All right, so here's my reset question for you. What's the best way to change your spouse's behavior? A, presenting facts. B, listening without judgments. I'm going to give you a little hint today. It's not A. Can we listen without judgments? Can we do that? I know what you're thinking. It's hard to do. Okay, a couple of reflection. Over the years, I have realized that it's more important not what you say, but how you say it. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Back to that custody example where your spouse wants primary, you want 50-50, and you can't really come up and you're so worried, what's the right thing to say? That's not so important, I don't think, at the beginning. What's more important is the intention of just listening, just understanding, and have your tone and your facial expression. Tone and facial expression, so important. So have your tone soft, have your facial expression just open, not scrunched up, not your arms like crossed over you, just relaxed. And then say, seems like we both want what's best for our children. And we may have different views. I'm not sure that's going to, resolve your whole case and you're going to, move to 50-50. But my hope is get you to that next step. And what's the next step? Get you to go to mediation. I don't want you to spend all your money on your, custody battle if you can prevent it. Go to mediation, go to these, a child specialist, go to people who understand how to deal with these issues. So important. All right, so let me just remind everyone who's been listening to this podcast. I want to remind you that divorce isn't just about legal battles. It's about emotional strategy. And that's why we doubled down on the pausing, on the mental distancing, on understanding all these concepts that they're not going to talk about at a normal consultation with your divorce lawyer. They're going to take your retainer and they're going to it's almost like taking your car to mechanic and you don't know what they're doing with your car. So I hope this was helpful to just get out of that defensive type of communication and get you going on a better path. I'm Corey Shapiro. I'm here to help you become more creative, less reactive in your divorce.
Thank you for tuning in to the Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind podcast. We would love to hear your feedback. Send Corey an email to feedback@gettingdivorced.org. And if you've read his book, please consider leaving an Amazon review. This podcast offers general information only. It cannot replace legal advice. If you need tailored advice, contact an attorney licensed to practice in your area.